What's going on, everyone? Canuck here, and we're going to continue our series of all the new features in the 2K25 Designer with a look at the camera tools and what they can do to help show off your course as it's being played. So when I first saw these, I kind of wondered what the point of it was. I mean, would I use these a lot? They're really cool, but I didn't really see myself using them much. However, I've really been able to sit down and play with these for a while, and I actually think they're a really cool way of showcasing your course. They are a bit finicky, so I do want to kind of walk you guys through how to create some really basic but creative shots that are going to show during the playthrough of your course. Now, I am by no means an expert. I am still learning how to use these tools, but I do want to share a few tips that I've found that should help you guys get started. So let's jump in. All right, so we can see here on my course, I have a whole bunch of these blue camera icons everywhere. And these are camera shots that are going to be set to play while other people are playing my course. Now, these are completely optional. You do not need to put in camera shots at all. It's not a requirement, but it is something that is definitely fun to have. So I'm going to kind of show you how to create one. We already have a bunch down, but the more you make, the less repetition you're going to get in your camera shots as people play the round. So I suggest, if you want to do a full 18 holes, maybe have 18 to 25 of these ready to go, so then you don't get a lot of repetition between your shots. So let's just say I would like to highlight this green here. So what we're going to do is we're going to head into the edit holes, and we're going to go to select camera type. Now, I have found that actually accessing the tutorials here actually do not a terrible job of introducing what the camera types and what all the settings do. So you might want to go through these as well and just take a look at what they all do. So there's 4 different camera types. The event intro camera is this kind of overview as the course opens, this show off of your course. However, I don't think this one works right now. I think they are working to fix it, but I haven't been able to trigger it at all when I've been trying to play this course. Maybe it's because I haven't published it yet, or I've only been playing it unpublished, but I can't quite get it to work. So hopefully that does get fixed at some point. We also have a menu background camera that's going to show up whenever people pause the menu, or like it says during reward screens at the end of the player's round. But the 2 you're probably going to want to use the most are the lower third camera. So that's when after someone putts out, it shows their scorecard on the bottom, and then it transitions to like a little mini leaderboard in the bottom right-hand corner or bottom left-hand corner, and it has this nice panoramic shot. That's called a lower third camera. And then a pre-hole is just a specialized lower third camera that showcases an individual hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a pre-hole camera for hole number 4 here. I think this is my 4th hole. It is. Okay. So we're going to go pre-hole camera, and you can create or place cameras in a couple different ways. You can place them using this camera tool, which is this little blue icon, and you can raise, lower, you can tilt it. It's good, but you can't really see exactly what that little camera is capturing. I would suggest you use the free fly. I can get a lot better detail in terms of exactly what everything is looking for, or what the cameras are actually looking at, I should say. So here you can lower, you can raise it with the bumpers, you can zoom in very close if you want, zoom out. Yeah, you can really do whatever you want, play around with these. So if I want to create kind of like a panning shot like this, I'm going to maybe start my first camera maybe about here. I'm going to press the A button down, and then I'm going to kind of pan around a little bit. Place another camera, pan around a bit again, and then probably one more time. I'm finding placing 4 to 6 cameras is pretty good. I find placing 3, though, you get some really weird motions. So try to stay away from placing just 3 cameras. All right, so we have them laid down here. And when I head over to select one of the cameras in this sequence, so let's just take this one, for example. Okay, we have a whole bunch of things. You can move them by either using the cursor or free fly. The camera preview shows actually what the camera is going to look like, which we'll show in a second. The big one you're going to want to control is what's called the tween speed. This is essentially how fast the camera is moving. Now, this is kind of relative. It really depends on how much ground you're covering. So for this one, where we're only covering, 20 or 30 yards, I'm going to want to set my tween speed rather low. So right now it's set on about 18. And as you can see with 18, you kind of get a pan like this. You saw the camera sped up a little bit there. We're going to fix that here in a second. That's not too bad. I think I might want it a little bit slower, maybe around a 14, but we'll play around with this. Sequence types, this is again where you can select pre-hole camera. If you want it to show up potentially again later in the round, you can actually turn the lower third camera on too. And then if I wanted to show off like this is hole 4, I'm going to go to obviously hole 4. You can actually have all of these on if you want, or just one of them. It's really up to you. I'm going to just keep the pre-hole camera on. You can also add a camera step. So if you want to add the camera step to before or after or at the very end, it's totally up to you, and try to really get these really smooth. So I've been practicing with this so I can get the turns pretty smooth just freehanding on my own, but you might need to adjust these to really get them as smooth as possible. And then you can also delete cameras as well. So what I want to do here is, as we noticed, the camera, you probably starts slow and then it kind of speeds up. We want to make that transition a little bit smoother. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter this advanced mode. And this advanced mode unlocks a whole bunch of new settings. Now, we want to access these tween settings, but as you can see on the first camera, it's grayed out. So in order to actually find them, you actually have to go over to any of the other cameras, just as long as it's not the first camera. So go over to the second camera, select it, and now we have these tween settings. So here's our tween speed, still set at 14. But the thing we want to change is the ease type. So if we hold down our tutorial here, it'll kind of tell you. So the ease type, okay, basically is how it transitions from camera to camera. So we have in, we have out, we have in and out, and we have something called lerp speed. Not sure what a lerp is, but lerp speed. And then we have none. The one we want is none. We want constant movement between steps. Now again, it depends. If you're trying to accomplish something else, some other ones might work for you. But for me, for just some basic shots, we really just want to access the ease type. And we want to go to none. We want to access none. So in order to change all of them, go to the auto ease sequence and just select none for all of them. So now all of the cameras will have the same tween settings of none. If you don't do that, then they'll have different settings and you'll get different speeds. So if we go back and we preview it again, now you can see things are sped up a little bit. And now we're getting a nice smooth look at these cameras. I think that might be a little bit fast. So what I would need to do is just maybe slow it down just a touch. But if you decide to slow it down again, unfortunately, you kind of have to go to every camera and you have to slow them down. So go to 11, make sure the ease type is still set to none. This is why you don't want to have a ton of cameras. Otherwise, then you have to keep changing them with all of them. But if we preview it again, that's a little bit slower. In terms of like how long you want the pan to go, kind of you think about when they putt out, take the leaderboard, how long does it take someone to really kind of take in the shot before they press A? I'd say anywhere from like 5 to 10 seconds is safe. Any shorter than that, and it's going to be really jarring because the camera will just stop. So you kind of want to avoid that. So I'm pretty happy with that shot there. Now, it really kind of depends on what you want to make. You can make those slow panning shots. I have a couple like really large panorama shots like up here. So you can see these big ones. And as you can see with one like this, my tween speed is a lot faster. It's like at 59. So if I preview that, I'm covering a lot more ground. It's still going quite a bit slower, but because I have so much ground to cover, yeah, I need to have that tween speed a lot higher. Now for something that's completely different in terms of like covering a little bit of ground, let's say I want to showcase, this was my favorite camera to make. We've got Bruce the Moose here. Bruce, because we're just covering a really slow pan upwards, I have my tween speed set to 0. And that's just a really slow, gradual look up. That's maybe my favorite camera shot. I love it. So, just a couple more things. There are a few more settings in here that you can really play with in the advanced camera settings. So we have camera step settings, which are, you can change focus distance, aperture. I'm not a photographer, so you can really play around with these. You can also set the noise preset. There's a whole bunch here that give varying results, like 6D shake, for example. I'll let you try that one out on your own, but it can be a bit nauseating if you set the frequency and amplitude up, as the camera will just shake ferociously. But hey, I would strongly recommend you don't do that, but it is kind of fun to play with, I'm not gonna lie, but would never actually use that for a proper course. So you can create lots of different shots. You can create kind of more traditional flyovers here. So here's maybe a flyover of hole 10, you know, just slow, basic kind of shot. And here I only used 2 cameras. That was only achieved just by using 2 cameras. Okay, so I have lots of different, I've got some panning shots here. I've got some kind of straight up shots like I had with Bruce there. One like this. I suggest kind of using a variety of shots to go with and just kind of play around with it. Like I said, I'm still learning this tool, but the real basics are kind of turning on that advanced camera and then making sure this auto ease is actually set to none. I just realized that one's not set to none. Yeah, so that'll give you a lot smoother look. If you need to adjust, you can adjust. Just make sure you're changing the tween speed for each camera. So that is about it for cameras. Looking forward to seeing what people can do with these, because they are pretty fun to use. So thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know in the comments what else you guys want me to cover in these tutorial series. I'm really having fun making them. So thank you guys very much, and we'll see you next time.